There's something deeply satisfying about watching someone powerful stay calm while completely destroying disrespect. Because sometimes interviews aren't really interviews, they're traps, awkward questions, hidden insults, passive-aggressive digs designed to provoke a reaction. But what happens when celebrities don't play along? What happens when, instead of getting uncomfortable, they flip the entire situation and leave the interviewer speechless? Today, we're diving into moments where celebrities didn't just defend themselves, they owned the room. And trust me, some of these comebacks are so smooth, you won't even realize what happened until it's too late. Number 1. Scarlett Johansson, the question that backfired instantly. At first, the room seems typical. Cameras are in motion. The lights are dazzling. Everyone became at ease. Sitting there promoting a huge blockbuster is Scarlett Johansson. She is calm, self-assured, and totally in charge. Then suddenly, the interviewer asks, leaning in, "Under the suit, what kind of underwear do you wear?" And in an instant, everything becomes frozen. Emotionally, not physically. Even the air seems uncomfortable for this split second. The audience's thoughts are practically audible. Wait, did he really just say that? This is where the majority of people would laugh it off, or become obviously uncomfortable. Scarlett, however, takes a different approach. She doesn't respond right away. She remains silent. That quiet? Power is that. Then she looks him in the eye, tilts her head slightly, and says calmly, "Why are you asking me that? Which type of panties do you wear?" That moment is like a polite smack. All of a sudden, it is the interviewer who is exposed. The uncomfortable one. The one fumbling. The twist is as follows. She didn't make fun of him. She didn't speak out. All she did was have him ask his own inquiry. It was unforgettable because of that. Not rage, but accuracy. Number 2. Robert Downey Jr., the interview that went too far. This one begins slowly. Too slow, almost. Robert Downey Jr. enters the interview at ease. Endearing. Grinning. Everyone adores the typical charisma. They discuss films. Career. Achievement. Everything seems secure. However, after that, the interviewer shifts course. First, subtly, he begins discussing Robert's history, his hardships, his darkest hours. And it's visible to you, not in Robert's words, but in the things he doesn't say. His smile fades a little. He makes an effort to change the topic, maintains professionalism. However, the interviewer continues to probe, deeper, more personal, more uncomfortable. At this point, the tension is thick. You're watching and thinking, why isn't he stopping? Then comes the turning point. Robert leans back slightly, looks at him, and says, "I'm sorry, I really don't. What are we doing?" That line isn't loud, but it cuts through everything, because now the interview isn't an interview anymore. It's been exposed. And then comes the moment nobody expected. He quietly removes the mic, stands up, and walks out. No drama, no explosion, just exit. And somehow, that silence screams louder than any argument ever could. Number 3. Rihanna, the moment she took control back. There's something odd about this interview. More relaxed, almost lighthearted. Rihanna is grinning at ease and responding to inquiries with ease. However, after that, the interviewer begins to stray. Away from her job, steer clear of her music, directly into her private life. Are you in a relationship with him? What's happening between you two? Tell us the truth. Rihanna initially dismisses it with a laugh. She's accustomed to this. However, the inquiries never end. They continue to arrive, one after the other. And gradually, you can see the change. Her grin shifts. Not gone. Simply put tighter. Under control. At last, she makes a decision. Enough. She looks straight at the interviewer, straightens up a little, and says, "My record will be released soon." This is all about that. No rage. No lengthy speech. Just a well-drawn barrier. And this is what gives it its strength. She doesn't request deference. She assumes it and makes the space adapt. Number 4. Tom Hardy one line that shut everything down. The atmosphere here is different. This isn't a one-on-one interview. It's a press conference. Crowded room. Multiple reporters. Cameras everywhere. Tom Hardy is answering questions, calm as always. Then someone asks a question that feels off. Too personal. Too invasive. and completely unrelated. For a moment, there's confusion. Even the audience senses it. Tom pauses. Not long, but long enough to feel it. Then he leans forward slightly, eyebrows narrowing just a bit, and says, "What on earth are you talking about?" The room goes silent. Not awkward. Heavy. Because in that one sentence, he didn't just reject the question, he exposed it. The interviewer tries to recover, explain, justify. But it's too late. The energy has shifted. And suddenly, everyone in the room knows that question should never have been asked. Number 5. Taylor Swift turning criticism into a weapon. This one feels familiar. Too familiar. Taylor Swift sits across from the interviewer, calm and composed. Then comes the question, the kind she's heard 100 times, about her relationships. But this time, there's an edge, a subtle judgment. The implication that she's the problem. Now here's where it changes. Instead of defending herself, Taylor pauses, smiles, and flips the entire narrative. If a man does that, it's normal. If I do it, it's a problem. And just like that, everything shifts. Because now, it's not about her anymore. It's about the system. The double standard. And suddenly, the interviewer isn't asking questions anymore. They're being questioned. That's the twist. Number 6. Keanu Reeves, the quietest shutdown. This moment is different. No tension. No confrontation. Just stillness. Keanu Reeves is sitting there, soft-spoken as always. Then a question comes, deeply personal. About loss. About pain. Something that clearly crosses a line. Now, most people expect one of two reactions, anger or avoidance. But Keanu chooses something else. He pauses, takes a breath, answers briefly, respectfully, and then gently redirects the conversation. No sharp words, no visible discomfort. But the message is clear. That door is closed. And what makes it powerful is that he never needed to say it out loud. These moments hit different because they're not scripted. They're real. Raw, unfiltered reactions in situations designed to break people. But instead of breaking, they took control. Not by shouting, not by attacking, but by understanding one simple thing. You don't have to answer every question to win the conversation. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. So tell me, which shutdown gave you chills? And trust me, the next video